I'm Kaylee George. I'm a manager of arts education programs here at the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust. My pronouns are she, her. I am a tall white woman. I have brunette hair that's very short now. And I have a blue and black top with some navy pants. I am happy to welcome you all here to the Trust Arts Education Center. Thank you for joining us for Creative Conversations, where you get the inside scoop on the PNC Broadway and Pittsburgh series. I am very pleased to introduce to you our presenter for today's Creative Conversations, Ms. Jaquia May.
Thank you. Can we please get it for Kaylee George for us, please? I appreciate you. So, of course, peace. My name is Jaquia May. My pronouns are she and her. I am a black woman with locks that are black, green, and yellow. I have on a pink one-piece suit, and I am blessed to be able to be here. I am a vocalist. I am a teacher. I work with kids. I'm a playwright. I'm an actress. I do a whole bunch of stuff. But I have to, of course, introduce this amazing person that I get to interview, this amazing individual who's been able to be a part of this amazing show called the Tina Turner Musical, Mr. Jacob Roberts Miller, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Jacob Roberts Miller. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am a medium tall white man with wavy curly brown hair and a little curl right in the front. I'm wearing a long sleeve white t-shirt with like a blue and pink floral pattern on the back, some blue pants, some yellow sneakers, and delighted to be here.
Yay, I'm so excited. Oh man, so of course I've been blessed to be able to see the show yesterday. And it changed my life. I feel like it was like so pivotal. It made me cry. Me and my best friend I got to see the show last night, and we were just in awe. It's really beautiful to watch someone tell a story that you've been captivated about. Like, I've known about Tina Turner since I was a kid. My grandmother introduced me to Tina. That's a very weird one. She would just be like twisting and dancing, and putting her on made me think of nostalgia, of joy. So it's really beautiful to watch y'all do y'all thing, for real. It really is.
Thanks so much.
Oh my goodness. So what inspired you first to be a performer?
Theater was sort of always around for me, growing up. Like I would do it during summer camp or little plays at schools. It just sort of was in the background. And then in 8th grade, I did this UIL one-act play festival, which was just sort of a bunch of the local middle schools got together and did plays for each other, basically. And just being around like hundreds of other theater kids, I really felt this sense of community and joy. And I got up on stage in front of, 200 people probably for the first time. And I was just like, I know what to do up here. This feels good. I know what to do up here more than I know what to do anywhere else in my life. And so I just kind of dove in and never stopped. And, before the college audition process and figuring that stuff out, I thought, is this really what I want to do with my life? This is, quite an undertaking. It's a whole thing to make a career out of being an actor. But there was nothing else that I would rather do. There's other stuff that I could do that I would enjoy and would make me a certain degree of happy, but there's nothing else that would make me happier. And I just decided I didn't want to wake up in 15 years and watch the Tony Awards and wonder if I could have been on that stage. I thought it would be more fun to just try and be on that stage.
I mean, it's really beautiful to see, I think, when it comes to the connection of music. So how were you introduced to the music of Tina Turner?
I mean, the music of Tina Turner is sort of inescapable in American culture because it is both so foundational, her work with Ike Turner, to American R&B and rock and roll, and then because in the 80s she came back and had this incredible string of hits that still reverberates to this day. And so I think it would have been in the background of just life, but the first song that I really remember individually was Can't Stand the Rain. I Can't Stand the Rain, because it just starts and it's so weird. It's got that do 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 do, and it's so I remember hearing it and being I don't know what this is, but I want to swim around in it. It's so cool.
I agree. And then also it's a sample of The Rain from Missy Elliott. She sampled it for that song. It's a hip hop song, actually. For those who do not know, Missy Elliott made a song called The Rain where she sampled Tina Turner's Can't Stand the Rain. So, I can't stand the rain against my window. If you don't know about that song, it's probably maybe a little bit too young for you, but it's all good.
And that Can't Stand the Rain, Tina's version is a cover of the Ann Peebles original from like 73, who was a contemporary of hers, which I also love. That like one of her cool, weird hits is her doing this reinvention of one of her own contemporaries.
See, and I mean, they were doing a lot more covers back then. And then for her to do all these different songs and her amazing story is just, oh my goodness. So, I mean, how does it feel to be a part of this cast and be a part of this musical?
I mean, it's amazing. It's really cool. It's such a like burden and gift to be part of telling the story of someone who is both like a real person with quirks and nuances and also this like titanic figure in American culture. And we did this exercise very early on in rehearsal where right when the cast was all meeting each other, where we like paired off and we had a minute to sit with each other and like basically tell each other our life stories, and then we had to get up in front of the group and tell the group our partner's life story. And immediately you felt this sense of this kind of pressure and anxiety that you didn't want to mess anything up and you didn't want to fuzz any little detail because you wanted so badly for the whole room to see this person for all the wonderful things they were and all the things that they wanted the world to know about them. But of course everyone did. Like we all messed up little bits and bobs and details, and it's this actually really beautiful exercise in like embracing the burden of telling someone else's story. You know, like we're telling Tina's story. She's not in the room with us. She isn't there to be like, oh, actually, it was kind of more complicated. But it also, the other thing we took from it was there's this, if you're doing it with intention and with deliberateness and clarity and love, then the essence of that story, of the life story of the person you were sharing, was still able to shine through every time. And so you would lose a couple of the details, but there was still a core truth about that person that we were able to share with the world. And I think that is sort of one of the things I keep coming back to, is getting to share some of the core of who Tina was and what she did and what she overcame and how she did it, and who was there to help her along the way.
Wow. Shoot, well, I can get up and go. No, no. I mean, it's really beautiful to hear, and the type of connection that all of you have been able to have. The beautiful, like, feels like a print of a quilt, and how you're able to come together to make this beautiful big creation. When you do and when you create. Last night, that's exactly what I got to see. It was very beautiful. Oh man, so I don't think I have any other questions. And I want to open it up for a little bit of Q&A. Does anyone have any questions for him? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, hold on.
What part do you play in the musical?
I am one of the dance captains, and I'm a swing. So what that means is, as a swing, I cover people in the ensemble. So if someone is sick or injured or just has vacation or whatever, then I'm one of the people who steps in. So depending on what night you see the show, you might see me as Erwin, Tina's German husband. You might see me as Phil Spector. You might see me as Roger, her Australian manager, or John Carpenter, an A&R rep at Columbia, or a variety of other different little things depending on who is sick and how sick they are. And then I'm also dance captain, which means that we have two dance captains on this show. It's myself and Sherry Washington Roan, who's another one of the female swings and is a wonderful, wonderful performer and collaborator. And we're in charge of maintaining the choreography of the show, so on a day-to-day basis. So that means if people start changing the steps a little bit from what they were in rehearsal, we talk to them about that. Or if we get into a theater where the space is a little different, and for some reason we need you to exit out of a different spot than you normally exit. Or when new people come into the show, we're the people who teach them the steps in the show and how to do it. So those are the things that I do for the show. Yes, I do know the lines to all the parts. including after various rehearsals, many of the parts which I do not actually cover. I could get you, if we sat down right now, I could get us through most of the show with probably like 85% accuracy on the lines, and then all the people I cover, I do just know all the words. Caverns of specific useless knowledge up here.
It's never really useless. It's just it's not being applied in a certain situation that you're in.
Oh, it's not useless to me.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's not useless.
Or the use often for the caverns of knowledge in my brain are just to delight myself. And in this specific instance, I get to apply it to getting paid, which is always nice.
Listen, so why does this resonate with you? Why does this play resonate with you so much?
One reason, I just love music, and I love rock and R&B specifically, and so truly just getting to hear these songs every night sung by our incredible cast and played by our incredible band is always a thrill. I could sit and just listen to our drummer play this show for a good 10 years, I think. It's really such a thrill. Like, I just love being around it so much. And then, it's such a human story of both, like, there's this part of it that feels very like traditionally American, of this woman who refused to be defeated by the world and who kept choosing joy and love and eventually triumphed. And that's really beautiful. And then there's this other part of it that, like, along the way, she has people who try to stop her, but continually, because she is who she is, the people around her also choose to support her. This is not the story of a woman who succeeded on her own against all odds. This is a story of a woman who kept reaching into her community and kept reaching around her to find people who were willing to help her and pull her up, and who she was able to help and pull up along with her. And so I think that's really beautiful. And then even just, I have family who have a specific relationship with abuse, and there's abuse in the show, and there was abuse in Tina's life. And so being part of this sort of piece of art that allows audiences to have a cathartic experience around abuse is really special to me, because that is something that I know people in my family could have really used, and it still means a lot to them today. So lots of stuff.
And that's really beautiful. That's the beauty of life and being able to connect, but the world of triumph. You know what I mean? The only thing I keep thinking of is when it comes to growing, you don't do it when you're comfortable. You're doing it when you're uncomfortable. And in order to become that lotus, that flower, you have to go through the mud.
Mm-hmm. And the lotus flowers bloom the most brightly and beautifully in the dirtiest, muckiest mud.
Yeah.
So there's also some beautiful themes of Buddhism that run through the show, because Tina ended up being a practicing and devout Buddhist, and there's a lot of beauty in that tradition. I also resonate with the show because I like doing silly voices, and because I get to cover so many different parts, I get to do a lot of silly voices.
Silly voices like what?
I get to do a German accent in the show, which is very entertaining for me. I like it a lot. I also get to do an Australian accent, which is a lot of fun. Sort of bounce around in there. That's sort of nice. I get to do a Yorkshire accent. Hard to get the wheel of it. There we go. Sort of found it. Takes a minute. I got lots of different stuff. That's only 3 of the 7. So buckle up when you see it.
I love that. See, just pull them all out there. So who's your favorite singer?
Oh gosh. I mean, there's so many different singers, and there's so many different ways of singing.
Just one of them. One of them is good.
You know what? Marvin Gaye.
Yes, he just had a birthday too.
Happy birthday, Marvin.
Yes, his birthday was on Sunday.
Yeah, I love the way he sings. I love his melodies. I think they're so. He has such a way of finding the emotional truth of a lyric and expressing it in a melody that is surprising but inevitable. There's so much, and it hits so much range in his voice of being able to be angry and passionate and rasp and distortion on the sound, or be so tender and gentle and sweet. And there's so much dynamics. I mean, from I want you to let's get it on to distant lover or what's going on. There's so much range, but it also always feels so. He has this specific musical identity that I couldn't possibly express. That is exciting every time. And he was a brilliant musician and did all kinds of crazy, really, really cool stuff in the studio with vocal layering and tracking and all kinds of just like dirty, nasty, brilliant stuff. Love that man. Love that music.
That's right. That's all I got. I don't even know. Marvin Gaye is definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah.
You know, my favorite's Stevie Wonder, though. Yeah.
Listen, don't get Stevie Wonder
look.
is why we have the synthesizer. Don't get me started on Stevie Wonder.
Just
I could
12
talk about that
instruments,
man.
5 languages over 50 years.
Genius. Won the Grammy in 1973, 74,
And just kept
75,
going.
and 77. Only reason he
Just-
didn't win it in 76 because he didn't put out an album that
That's
year.
what it is.
Paul Simon won in 76.
Right, and then
he
got back on
thanked
it.
Stevie Wonder
Of
for
course
not releasing
he did.
an album.
Of course he did. You know, I mean,
That's
well,
good.
that's considered that time. Of course, when Tina was, of course, singing much more during that time, it was considered the golden era of R&B. So it's just when she came back out in the 80s, to be able to tell that part of their story, can you elaborate a little bit more on that one?
Sure, yeah. So the spoilers, the first act of the show is mostly about the first period of Tina's life, her relationship with Ike, being born in Nutbush, and becoming a singer, becoming successful as Tina Turner with Ike and the Ikeettes. And then in Act 2, we really follow her like second period of success and her like true triumph when she puts out Private Dancer and she gets #1 hit with What's Love Got to Do with It. And it's it's beautiful the way it's done in the show, I think, because for better, for worse, frankly, Ike Turner is an inextricable part of Tina Turner's story and legacy, but he is also only one part. And so it's really, really, I love that in the show we get to see and understand their relationship and their relationship to the music. And then in Act 2, we get to see what she gets to be without that oppressive force in her life. And we get to see her sing straight up rock and roll, sing all those classic rock and roll 80s hits that we know and love, and that like still are tied to the American R&B tradition because that is the music that music is built off of, but also is specifically 80s and has this sort of freedom and this expressive joy, and she gets to sing pretty. And she talks about when she was doing River Deep with Phil Spector that Ike always asked her to sing loud and harsh, and she wanted to like just sing. And Phil Spector is one of the first people who said, I just want you to sing this. I don't want you to put other stuff on it, just sing it. And I think in the material that we get from the 80s, you can sort of hear that in the music, that she's getting to like just sing this song the way that she wants to do it. And there's a lot more, there's still that classic distortion and rasp, but there's a lot more gentleness and sort of melodic bounce. And so that's another fun thing and cool thing about the show is that you really get a number of different genres of music and of musical language within the show.
Wow. Thank you. So when it comes to, of course, being in plays, how many plays have you been in?
You know, I don't know.
That's
I
good.
honestly couldn't tell you. I don't know how many I've done. I don't know. It would be easier for me to get to how many I've been paid to do.
Okay. All right now.
But I still don't know off the top of my head, and
That's really beautiful.
you know, I don't need to count. I just need to know.
Yeah, no, that's right.
There's
Like
another
tattoos, there's only really one, and you just keep going. So if you had something you would like to say to your younger self, what would it be?
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so many things. You know, start therapy sooner. That would be good. Honestly, you know, I would be like, oh man, somehow both be more willing to be wrong and also be willing to be wrong about the stuff you've thought about, be less willing to be wrong about the stuff you're feeling. I think I could have, I'm very lucky, and I was pretty smart and knew a lot of stuff that I wanted to do. But I think I also had, I got trapped often in the ways that I had already decided that I would like to do it. And had I trusted my emotional life more, I think I just would have been more present while it happened. And might have been more fun. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that perspective. So do you see any parallels with the life of Tina Turner in yours?
I mean, there are things about being a performer and being a performer on the road that like just sort of get into your bones. The feeling of waking up in a city and not being 100% sure where you are, but knowing you've got a show that night. The feeling of getting up on stage and not knowing if you've got a show in you until you look out and you see the audience. And there's this like weird magic things that happen where you see the audience and you go, they've got a show in them. And if they've got a show, we can do a show together. Because that's the other thing, right? Like performing is not a solitary exercise. It is a conversation between audience and performer. And that is one of the things that I think Tina Turner is arguably the most exceptional at, is being specifically a live performer who you are in the room with and who you feel like you really are getting a show tonight that is never going to happen again. And that's one of the things that I really love about doing this show on the road, is that it is it feels so right to the story and person of Tina Turner to take this thing on the road and to be in all these different cities that she had different relationships with and different experiences with, and to be doing that thing of saying the show exists and the show is the same every night, mostly. And getting up and finding that conversation with a different audience in a different city, and then making the magic that happens specifically in this room and specifically on this night. And I think that's really cool. I mean, there's stuff we can all relate to of finding peace in moments of chaos and choosing love and joy. And then there's also stuff about her story that I absolutely cannot relate to because of her experiences with race and gender and things that are there only for me to look at and learn from and help reflect into the world. But yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I was going to ask you, when it comes to anyone that's young who's coming up, learning to be an actor or a creative in some form of fashion, do you have any advice for them?
I have so much advice for you.
Yes.
I have so much advice. But like a couple kernels, find the magic for yourself, find the spark, and don't let go of it. It has to, there's no, performing is a wonderful career, but it has a lot of, it also has a lot of challenges and a lot of specific challenges. And there's truly, in my opinion, there's no point in doing something this weird and hard and isolating if it's not magical. Not every day, but if there isn't that feeling of connecting to something greater than yourself. And so whatever the thing is about art that makes you feel like you're connected to something greater, that is the thing to follow. And whether that means you get paid more for it or less for it or what, there's no point in doing this beautiful thing if you're not going to enjoy some piece of it, if it's not going to connect you to something greater. I feel passionately about that. And also, trust how you feel. If you are in a space making art and it feels bad, get out of there. Don't be there anymore. That is not where you need to be. And bad is different from, discomfort is different from hurt. And so, figure out what that feels like in your body to all you young creatives, because that is a very, very important difference. And knowing the distinction between those two things will save you or will sink you. Also, start investing now. Get a Roth IRA, whatever it is. Life is long and it costs money. So go ahead and start figuring that out.
That's right. Start with a savings account, then get a checking, put some money in there every day.
Nice broad-based index fund. Get a financial planner when you can.
Come on now. Listen.
Get health insurance.
Listen. And then go back to therapy.
Yes.
There you go. See?
Yes.
Go back to it. So I think when it comes to being a performer, I think the power of it is in rest. And also the power is turning your pain into power. When it comes to the story of Tina Turner, that's what I just kept seeing. Yeah. And turning your, alchemizing your pain into power and also community. Whatever
whenever you feel alone, go reach out into the world. Or whenever you feel lonely, go be alone. That's great. Go be alone. That's wonderful for you, and I highly recommend it. And if you're scared of being alone, go be alone right now. But when you feel lonely, reach out in the world, because that's one of the other things about Tina Turner is she was a member of communities, and she was a person who helped people and who people helped. And there's stuff we don't even have room for in the show about things that kept her alive during the 70s, like Olivia Newton-John having her on her variety show is how she met her new manager. Cher had her on her variety show because she just loved her. The Who put her in the Tommy movie because they were obsessed with her and because she was incredible. Like, and these are things we don't even have room for, but like Tina Turner was beloved, and so people took care of her. Mm-hmm. And she had other experiences too, but like that is a huge part of how she was able to survive and have this titanic comeback. So reach out into your communities, because we are nothing without our communities, and get your rest and turn your pain into power and do it on your terms.
That part.
Because there's other, like, she turns her pain into power, but she also, when she's doing Private Dancer or Simply the Best or What's Love Got to Do with It, she has left her life with Ike behind. Mm-hmm. That the music she's doing is different. She has this line in the show, I'm not singing those old sad R&B songs. I want to sing new stuff. I want to sing new rock and roll. She takes from what she's experienced, but she also knows what to let go of. And she says, I'm not doing R&B anymore. That's not what I want to do. I want to be a rock star, and this is how I'm going to do it. And that is what leads her to her greatest triumph, at least commercially, is both following her gut and knowing what to take and what to leave. And knowing to take and keep her name. That's a whole legal battle thing.
She is like a beast, a legend.
Oh, the best. Simply.
See, we did that. Yeah, that was
we're at like 200 performances. The
like
number of Tina Turner jokes that I've done at this point.
That was great. You walked right into that. Y'all, Jacob Roberts Miller, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for being here. My name is Jaquia May. It's been a pleasure talking with you and getting to know you. Thank you, all of you, for, of course, being here. We are, of course, going to, adjourn, and we're going to allow you to go see this amazing show. For those who do not know, Tina Turner, the musical, is on Broadway from April 4th to April 9th. I am so excited. I'm going to just keep sending everybody to go to it. Last time I heard, there's only a couple tickets left for the last night now. So thank y'all so much for being here. Have a great evening, okay?